Imagine a man so revered that after death he was not buried like a king, he was worshipped like a god, a visionary who redefined medicine, architecture, and the very nature of existence. A priest, a sage, a scientist, and perhaps something more. His name was Imhotep, and his story may hold the key to the universe itself. Who was this man? A simple vizier of ancient Egypt, or the original bearer of divine wisdom, the true Hermes Trismegistus? Today we unravel the legend, the forgotten genius, the god who may have once been a man, the beginning of a legend. Long ago, before the Great Pyramids pierced the heavens, before Cleopatra and Tutankhamun captured the world's imagination, there was Imhotep. He walked the sands of Egypt over 4,500 years ago, serving Pharaoh Djoser during the Third Dynasty. But unlike the rulers whose power was forged by war and blood, Imhotep's strength came from knowledge, from the invisible. His origins, lost to time. Some say he was born of a humble architect. Others whisper of divine bloodlines, a soul sent by the gods. But one thing is certain, his mind was centuries ahead of his time. He wasn't just a vizier, he was an architect of the divine, a healer of the body, and a master of the hidden laws that govern the cosmos. The first pyramid, a machine for the soul. Before Imhotep, Egyptian royalty were buried in low, flat tombs called mastabas. But Imhotep looked to the sky and saw a ladder to the gods. He envisioned something the world had never seen, a structure that rose in steps, each level a rung toward the heavens. Thus, the step pyramid of Djoser at Saqqara was born, the first great monument in stone, the prototype for all pyramids to come. But this was more than architecture. To the Egyptians, the pyramid was sacred geometry. Its shape mirrored the sun's rays, an energetic conduit for the soul's ascension. Imhotep didn't just build a tomb, he built a gateway, a spiritual machine designed to bridge earth and the divine. Beneath the surface, hidden chambers and passageways reflected not just engineering, but esoteric knowledge encoded in stone. This is the kind of work that centuries later would influence Hermetic philosophy and inspire secret societies who believed the ancients held truths long forgotten. Imhotep the healer, medicine before its time. But Imhotep's genius didn't stop at architecture. He was also the first physician known by name. In an age when illness was blamed on curses and angry gods, Imhotep studied the body as a system, recording symptoms, prescribing remedies, and cataloging treatments. He used honey as an antibiotic, a practice confirmed by modern science. He understood that true healing required balance between body, mind, and soul. His teachings were passed down through Egyptian medical papyri, whispered through the ages until even Hippocrates, the father of Western medicine, is believed to have been influenced by his legacy. The Greeks were in awe. To them, Imhotep became Asclepius, their god of medicine. He was no longer just a man, he had become a divine force, a bridge between mortal and immortal. Priest, alchemist, master of mysteries. Beyond the body, Imhotep explored the soul. He was high priest of Ptah, the creator god, and an initiate into the mysteries of life and death. In ancient Egypt, temples were more than shrines. They were spiritual universities where astronomy, alchemy, and sacred mathematics were taught. Imhotep was a teacher in these hidden halls, a guardian of cosmic law, and some believe the original source of the Hermetic tradition. Hermes Trismegistus, thrice great Hermes, would appear centuries later in Greek texts, revealing the secrets of the macrocosm and microcosm. But what if Hermes wasn't a man at all? What if Hermes was a title, and Imhotep was its first holder? The legacy that never died. Over time, Imhotep's legend expanded. By the New Kingdom era, 1,000 years after his death, he was worshipped in temples, identified with Thoth, god of wisdom, writing, and magic, merged with Hermes, revered in Rome. His name traveled through centuries and civilizations. He was no longer just Egypt's healer or architect. He had become a universal archetype, a symbol of transcendent wisdom. But his tomb, still missing. Some say it was hidden by his disciples. Others believe it was never meant to be found. Perhaps it holds sacred texts. Perhaps it holds nothing at all, because Imhotep's true legacy wasn't in stone, it was in knowledge. But his tomb, still missing, a ghost in the sands of history. Archaeologists have searched for it across Saqqara and beyond, yet no trace has ever been confirmed. No sarcophagus, no burial chamber, no final resting place for a man who became a god. Some say it was hidden by his disciples. guarded in secret by those who understood the power of his knowledge. Others believed the tomb was never built at all, because Imhotep, unlike kings, had no need for stone to carry his name through time. His true temple was wisdom, and wisdom does not erode. What if his tomb was symbolic, a metaphor for a hidden truth waiting to be rediscovered, a vessel not of bones, but of consciousness? Perhaps it holds sacred texts sealed away from those not yet ready to see, blueprints of the cosmos, records of divine law, secrets of the soul's journey, encrypted in sacred geometry and celestial alignment. Or perhaps it holds nothing at all, because the real treasure was never physical. It was transmissible thought, an echo passed from one initiate to the next, across cultures, cloaked in myth, encoded in symbols, preserved in fragments, until the world would be ready to understand it. Imhotep's legacy is not entombed, it is embedded in every temple that aligns with the stars, in every healing practice that honors the balance of body and spirit, in every philosopher who sees the universe not as chaos, but as ordered intelligence. And perhaps his story, like all great esoteric truths, was never meant for the masses, but for those willing to see beyond the veil, to read between the lines of history, to hear the voice of a forgotten sage calling through stone, silence, and time. Imhotep didn't just leave behind ideas, he left behind a pattern, a blueprint of how knowledge can survive even when the world forgets. Not through empire, not through power, but through resonance. And now, in an age where humanity once again searches for meaning beyond the material, where science begins to echo spirituality, his presence is returning, not in body, but in wave, frequency, and thought. The mystery of his tomb might never be solved, because the real mystery is within us. Imhotep didn't ask to be remembered as a man. He wanted to be remembered as a principle, a force that lives wherever wisdom is sought, where healing is holistic, where architecture touches the divine, and where the boundaries between spirit and science dissolve. That is how a man becomes immortal. Imhotep was more than the world's first architect, more than a healer, more than a priest. He was a synthesizer of worlds, a unifier of science and spirit, a man whose name whispered through pyramids, papyri, and time itself. His body vanished, but his wisdom echoes. And perhaps that is what immortality truly is. Not eternal life, but eternal influence. The legacy of Imhotep is not just history, it is a reminder that the search for truth is the path to the divine. Thank you for watching.